Okay, so the X factor in golf, we're looking at the difference between the turn in the hips and the shoulders at the top of the backswing. Okay, so if I just swing to the top foot here, you can see I've got a big shoulder turn, my back is facing away from the target. I have got a hip turn, okay, but it's a lot less than shoulders, okay. So the bigger the degrees, the difference in degrees, so at the top here, my shoulder turn's here, okay, my hip turn is here. Generally the bigger the difference, the further you're going to hit it because you've got a bigger X factor. However, you can make your X factor even bigger on the downswing. By thinking at the top, if you drive the hips towards the target first and then turn, you can see my upper body hasn't moved and I've just increased the size of the X factor, therefore I've got more power to drive in and express on the ball. Okay? So in golf fitness, because I'm not a golf teacher, I'm not trying to teach you golf, okay? But you've got to understand the X factor to understand why I do what I'm trying to do. Alright? So, I'll bring you over to this seat here. A way that we can increase the amount of shoulder turn that we have is by stabilising the hips and forcing the upper body to turn. So if I sit myself down on the driving range here, the only drill I want you to do is put your feet and knees together, cross this across the front of your shoulders and just practice turning as far as you can. Okay? Into the backswing and into the follow through. Stay nice and upright, try not to let your knees or feet move. Okay? And then you should be able to increase over time the distance that you can turn your shoulders. Okay? But the most important thing is training your body to be able to separate the upper body from the lower body. Okay? So it's a drill that we test so we can see how good people's ability is to separate the upper body and the lower body. We can cross the shoulder across the drive across the shoulders and just practice rotating the lower body backwards and forwards. Okay? If we tend to see a rotation rather than a slow backwards and forwards, people can generally get that X factor in their backswing. It might not be as big as they want it to be, but they're generally capable of doing it. Okay? The other way we can test it again is just generally being in a set-up position and just turning the upper body as much as you can, and I'm looking for as little motion in the lower body as possible. Okay? So that's what that test I would do to see where you're at right now. But the actual exercise that we'll do to try and increase the X factor is what I've just showed you here while you sat down, cross your shoulders, okay, and just practicing a big turn by keeping your lower body turned off. So in theory then, when we come to the ball, we should be able to stabilise our lower body, okay, and have a big shoulder turn, and again increase a nice big X factor and express it onto the ball.